What's up, guys? Your favorite homeless guy here. As you can see, I actually did a quick change for this YouTube video. That's how you know that it's important, because I actually came and ironed my stuff today. So this video exactly is one video that I've been trying to work on for a long time, but I always kept on postponing because I wasn't sure of whether or not there was enough momentum for me to make it. A lot of people are really talking about Ethereum or Cardano or anything in much seriousness before, but there's been a little change in the ecosystem. A lot of people, when people start to get scared, they start to lash out. If you attack a dragon, the dragon is going to attack back. Any animal that is about to die is going to fight for its life. That's when it's at its most dangerous. So that's why I thought I'll make this video now. Now, let me be clear. I'm not actually a financial advisor. I know this is a disappointment to you guys. But what makes me qualified enough to talk about this topic, though, is not only am I an engineer, a master's in business graduate, and also working towards getting a PhD, but I'm actually halfway towards completing a certificate for blockchain development at Binance. One thing that I'm here to talk about today, though, is something that a lot of people keep on reiterating on about, which I very much think they actually have zero knowledge on. Actually, let me be a bit more fair. I think they have about 15% knowledge on this topic, and that's network effects. So I'm not actually going to talk about this in detail or in technicals or whatever, because I know most people that are watching this video wouldn't be able to understand. And I'm not here to talk business owner to business owner or developer to developer. I'm here to speak to the people who don't know shit about. I'm here to speak to the people who don't know much about this topic and who want to learn more. Because a good test of intelligence is whether or not you're able to explain very complex things to people who know nothing about the topic. So here we go. Now the question is, why Cardano? Why ADA? Why this over Ethereum, who has been, the first mover and who has accumulated a lot of networking effects? So, for me to actually speak on that first, I want to give you guys an example. Why do you use Google search over Yahoo search? Why do people use Twitter over Bebo, over MySpace? Why is Facebook currently the biggest social media platform? None of these that I called right now are actually the first to market. But what do they have? They have the biggest market share over the ones. They have a bigger market share over the ones that came before them. Wouldn't you think something like MySpace would have been able to acquire enough networking effect over Facebook to prevent Facebook from outgrowing it? Exactly. MySpace had the users. MySpace had a lot of traction over it before Facebook even came into development. Let me tell you guys something. And it's funny because Logan Paul, who I watch here and there, he always keeps on talking about pioneers against buccaneers, and how pioneers came first, they died, but buccaneers learned from them and they came and did what they couldn't do. But yet he talks about how he's buying Ethereum, how he's buying Bitcoin. A lot of people who are not familiar with this space haven't actually used Ethereum before, they're just buying it. So let's talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. Bitcoin was the first. A lot of people use Bitcoin, is the household name right now. That's why a lot of people that will come to the crypto space actually buy Bitcoin over anything else. Now the second thing is Ethereum. Ethereum was the first to do smart contracts. And now Ethereum was the first to do smart contracts, and Ethereum is now the second thing that people choose to buy if they don't want to buy Bitcoin. They don't really believe in the Bitcoin vision, and then they buy Ethereum because it's the second thing, is the second cryptocurrency that came, and also is the first to actually do smart contracts. So now, if you've actually done things more deeply than buying or selling these cryptocurrencies, you will know that they are very inefficient. Have you ever tried to transfer Bitcoin from one wallet to another? It takes an hour. Have you ever tried to buy anything on Have you ever tried to buy anything on Uniswap? It costs you about £50 or upwards of that in gas fees. People who actually use this space, you see them complaining about gas fees. But the thing is, everyone is hopeful. Ethereum 2.0 is coming, Ethereum is going to scale up and everything. And I'm going to tell you guys something. Actually, I'll give you a series of points of why I believe that Cardano is actually going to overtake Ethereum and possibly Bitcoin. But that's more in the longer term, because Bitcoin has something going for it that Ethereum doesn't. Bitcoin is a religion. It was created by Satoshi Nakamoto, this godlike figure who dumped this piece of knowledge on humanity and then disappeared. Why won't people believe in this? So Bitcoin is kind of the face of cryptocurrencies, something that Ethereum is not going to achieve. So Ethereum is going to be judged purely on its technology. And one thing I've learned in this life is the best technology is always going to galvanize the not so great one, even if it was the first to market. So now let's talk about Ethereum 2.0 and what it's going to do to actually fix Ethereum's issues. Ethereum 2.0 is based mostly off its scaling capabilities. It's to increase the amount of transactions per second that can happen on the blockchain, and also to reduce the gas fees that comes with it. So let's dial back a bit, from technicals and talk based off like normal English. Ethereum right now, it has about like 15 transactions per second that it can do, and also it has heavy gas fees. And by the way, if these values are kind of off, keep in mind I'm speaking like off the cuff. Ethereum 2.0, it's not actually discussing something that a lot of blockchains have chosen to address, like governance. Now, why is governance important? It's something that a lot of these hype moon boy YouTubers are not speaking about, but it's really important. Governance is the difference between a Bitcoin and a Bitcoin Classic or a Bitcoin SV, Satoshi's vision. Every single time that these blockchains try to update themselves, add a new feature or something, the community gets split. Bitcoin was the first. People tried to scale Bitcoin, make more transactions per second happen on Bitcoin. What happened? There was disagreement. Bitcoin Cash was created. Bitcoin Satoshi's vision was created. Same thing happened with Ethereum. There was a big hack that was about to happen. The community was split on whether or not they should intervene on the hack. And what happened? Ethereum Classic was made. Ethereum continued. This is the issue. And governance is something that needs to be addressed, because technology is always going to accelerate in terms of the speed of innovation. What point is having a groundbreaking tech right now that nobody can update in the future? That's why governance needs to exist. Right now, Cardano has the best governance system. How do I know this? Because Cardano's governance system contributes to whether or not large-scale projects can be funded. What does this mean? If you can go online right now at your leisure, read up about Project Catalyst. Right now, they have around 4 funding that they're doing. It's the worth of the treasury pot is about like $1 million right now. And who gets to vote on these projects that are going to be funded? It's the Cardano community. It's people who hold ADA on their Daedalus wallet. It is every single ADA member potentially. This tech is not hopium. This tech is not promises. This tech is not a white paper. It's something that exists right now, that you can do right now on your Daedalus wallet. Cardano can be upgraded based off community feedback. If the community wants to keep on funding IOHK, they can keep on funding IOHK. If the community wants Apple to take over Cardano development, they can vote on it. Your wallet decides. That is what governance is. Not if a few developers locked up in one room deciding on whether or not Ethereum should be updated or not. That's not how this is not meant to work. Not a few miners that decide, okay, I like the money I'm getting right now. I don't want to port over to a different fork of this I don't want to port over to a different fork of this blockchain because I don't know if I'll get enough money, or I want to create a different fork of this blockchain because I want to acquire a pre-mined version of this and also potentially gain more money. Okay, so I'm going to end that there for that part of governance. Now, what's the next thing? Scalability. Scalability is something that is argued a lot, but I'll tell you to think of scalability as demand and supply, something that we were all taught in like secondary school. The more scalable something is, the less the security. That's how it generally tends to work currently. So someone can come over and say Elrond eGold is more scalable than Cardano. Someone can say Digibyte is more scalable than Cardano. It can do more transactions per second. The way Cardano address scalability is that right now the system is able to scale to what the system could potentially need, but in the future they are working on something called Hydra that will potentially bring Cardano to about 1 million plus transactions per second. Why is this important? This is what happens when you build something from the ground up. You have scientific papers on it and everything. It becomes easier to change the code or to add new things to the code because the foundations are actually built properly. That's one thing that Ethereum did not do. Ethereum forked over Bitcoin's code and then they made some changes to it to allow smart contracts to happen. And now that they're trying to build Ethereum 2.0, it's almost like I can liken this to, as Charles Hodgkinson could say, you can liken this to trying to change a car tire while the car is actually in motion. It's not necessarily impossible, but really difficult to do, and a few failures can happen. And the thing is, with blockchain, failures are not allowed to happen. If this is not like updating your servers. You take the servers down and then when you finish updating it, you bring them back up. This Ethereum 2.0 needs to actually be fully functional with zero errors on day one, because if there are downtimes or if something wrong happens, all the millions of dollars or billions of dollars locked in value on Ethereum that you can check on DeFi Pulse right now, I believe is standing at about 36 billion, could be compromised. Every single value there could be lost. Now that's why Ethereum are actually doing something. They're doing like soft launches, testing things out and everything, and money can still be lost in that. So there's no guarantee that Ethereum 2.0 is actually going to be fully functional when it comes, or if it even comes. But people on Twitter are too scared, or they're too heavily invested, over leveraged on Ethereum to actually address these facts. People come, they call ADA vaporware, they call ADA hopium, they call ADA like a voting token. But the fact is, most of the things that are supposed to be built on ADA, even if they are not built right now, have already been hashed out. You'll think that a system that's supposed to transfer trillions upwards in value, being formally verified, being like made sure that every single thing works before it's deployed, would be praised. But all these moon boys, they are so obsessed with getting gains every second, every hour, every day, that they actually are not looking towards the longevity of this. And let me tell you guys something. There is value, or there's immense value in investing in something that would be here in the next 10 years. Because cryptocurrencies, unlike stocks, unlike real estate, unlike all these things, is the vision for cryptocurrency, or the promise for cryptocurrency, is if it achieves what it's supposed to achieve, you never have to sell it. If you want to buy something, you buy it in cryptocurrency. So that's the promise of this. That is why you need to take a step back. You need to research it properly. You need to do everything before you actually purchase this cryptocurrency. It's not something that you should look towards to buy now, sell to buy now. It's not something you should look towards to as like something I'll buy now, maybe in 5 weeks I'll sell it at a higher price. That's not the promise of it. You can do that. You can do whatever you want. I'm not controlling your money. But if you want to make the most gains, as you've seen, the people who made the most money from Bitcoin were people that bought Bitcoin in 2009 and they never sold it. People that made the most coin in Ethereum were people that bought Ethereum when it came out and never sold it. All these guys that are using 100x leverage, 25x leverage, most of them lost money. And you would assume that it's the other way around, because trading actively takes your time. Meanwhile, putting money in something, it takes time in like researching it and everything. But after you research and buy it, you're not doing anything anymore. If anything that solves a real world problem would have value, and this is not what these moon boys are looking at. These guys, let me give you guys an example right now. If Cardano was to have launched the same time Ethereum launched, and Ethereum should have launched right now that Cardano is launching, do you think Ethereum would be as big as it is right now? It would not. Cardano has better tech. Cardano is peer reviewed, is formally verified. All the theory has been hashed out with Cardano, and Cardano works. If Cardano was a very bad project that had no potential, Polkadot, which a lot of Ethereum maxis are kind of like deviating towards, would not have copied Cardano's underlying consensus algorithm. Polkadot uses Ouroboros, which was made by Cardano. pretty good for, a peer-reviewed Hopium project. But yeah, I don't know, this is just something I wanted to talk to you guys about because I've been seeing a lot of FUD on Twitter, and it's something that people keep on asking me, why Cardano, why ADA? So I feel like I just had to give like a very good explanation of this. By the way, smart contracts is launching very soon. Hopefully it comes like, I think the first iteration actually came today in the very hard fork. In very hard fork. The rest is going to come like later. It's like semi-deployed launch. And speaking of my Binance thing, I feel like I'm kind of cheating because although I'm learning how to build and deploy on Binance, my hope and what actually got me into programming was Cardano. And I really like Charles Hodgkinson. I like the vision, and I want to learn as much as I can to contribute to the vision. So I feel like that is my bias there. But I believe that bias is way better than, all these YouTubers, all these big YouTubers that have millions of dollars locked in Ethereum. So they're more incentivized to promote Ethereum, or they're even being paid by some other projects to actually promote those projects, even if they are not promising. So yeah, this is semi-unbiased opinions about Cardano versus Ethereum. Well, actually, one more thing before I end this video, I wanted to leave you guys with like some thoughts about the whole networking effect thing, because that's basically the whole point of this video. People talk about network effects, they don't really know much about it. If you read any paper about network effect, it will mention the fact that there's a limit to network effect. And also, in terms of something that I believe is almost on the same level as network effects, is the first mover advantage. The thing about the first mover advantage is it's not necessarily as big of an advantage as you would think. If the first mover actually has enough capital to keep on innovating faster than faster than the rest of the people who come into that space, then that's where first mover is actually going to be beneficial. But the thing is, Ethereum is not at that same level. Ethereum is super expensive. The technology is very difficult to actually update. And I feel like the good comparison that I can give here to this same situation is with taxi and Uber. Taxi companies had first movers advantage. They've been around since God knows when cars were created. And Uber came as this random tech company with no cars, but they offered rides at a cheaper price. And what happened? Uber is now possibly, I think, the biggest taxi company out there. So the next big blockchain might not be Cardano, but what I'll tell you guys is, do you think when institutional adoption actually comes, that these big institutions will be pumping money into something that they were kind of late to the party in, or will they pump their money into something that has better technology and isn't as widespread in terms of like the hype as these other actors in the space? Plus another big thing is developers. In terms of developers, right now there's about 80,000 Solidity developers out there. But something that is good about Cardano is that they have Yella, which is basically they will allow you to write smart contracts not only in their Plutus programming language, but also in Python, in JavaScript, in Solidity, and in several different other languages. So technically, Cardano actually has more developers or soon to be developers than Ethereum could ever achieve. Also, the last thing, Ethereum has more projects on Ethereum than Cardano. Cardano has nothing on it right now. The good thing is the good thing about this is, what's so big about Ethereum is DeFi, decentralized finance. And I'm going to show you guys like why this is so funny. Ethereum had about 40 billion total value locked in the protocol before this crash. Binance Smart Chain, which was launched in November of 2020, recently started getting projects built on it, and in about like a month, Binance Smart Chain went from almost zero in total value locked to 10 billion, 1/4 of what Ethereum was at. And that's why Binance Coin actually grew to about 1/4 of what Ethereum was at. So a lot of things change quickly. At the end of the day, these users are using Ethereum's blockchain not because Aave, Compound, Maker are there, but because it was the best option at that time. right now that Venus, Auto, and Pancake Swap came, the counterparts to the protocol, the counterpart to the dApps that are built on Ethereum came, they started moving over. Because at the end of the day, people use decentralized finance either to gain more money yields or to borrow money. And it makes no sense to use this if for you to send £5 on this protocol, you need to pay £30 in gas fees. In contrast to Ethereum, Binance ended up in gas fees you pay like cents compared to the hard hundreds of dollars on Ethereum, and it showed in the mass exodus in users. And I feel like this is going to keep on happening. It's going to keep on happening regardless of which protocol you end up putting money inside. Ethereum's days are probably numbered. That's all I'm going to say. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you hated it, leave your dislike on this video. If you want to see more, you should probably comment or like the video. I know I've been really busy, that's why I have not uploaded recently. But if one person, I'm going to make a promise, if one person likes or watches this video, then I'll probably keep on uploading. Okay.